One of the things that really touched me, and I think it's because I also come from that kind of field in terms of education, I think that has been so important, that creating an awareness and creating an awareness from an early age, whether it is indigenous children born in the diaspora, whether it is children who are back home in those communities. How do we create an awareness of climate change, its impacts, and how do we create a building of resilience in those communities through, first and foremost, acknowledging that it is there and what it's doing, and also grasping, getting hold of our elders who still are custodians of that information and helping pass it down to these children. Because tomorrow, when our elders are gone in those communities, what happens to that knowledge? It then disappears. So I feel that that is critical, and I think we've got a lot of children who are born outside of the continent or born in different parts of the world who don't have that knowledge, who don't have that opportunity of being with grandparents or elders in the community. So what do we do in order to try and make sure that that information is passed down? Do we document it? Do we put it on tapes? Do we get our elders to record? We've got all these tools right now. Shouldn't we start creating those tools so that it helps us? Because there's a lot of information that we do not have to start repeating.
I think the conference was particularly refreshing for getting a sense of how the dots connect. When we think of indigenous communities, we think of people who are separate from everything else, from all development. And yet here we're talking about the impact of development initiatives on those communities, and also long-term on all of us. So I think the conference was great for connecting the dots, but also making what I consider a business case for doing this correctly. The gaps were very, very clear. There were a lot of challenges with this work and trying to be climate efficient or climate compliant. But I did love that a lot of the content showed where there's opportunities, whether it's from the work the EPA is doing, or potential to speak on a political and business side of this. And also I think there was a lot around opportunities of what we are not stewarding. We have a lot more than we realize in Africa, and so that was helpful. When Prof. Nana was talking about Galamsey, I'm originally Zimbabwean, and we are really struggling with that. We call it Amakorokoza. In Zimbabwe, we have cities that are basically going underground because of intense artisanal mining of gold. So I was excited hearing, the different things the EPA is doing, EPA in Ghana is doing to mitigate that.
Protection Authority.
Yes, to not just mitigate it, but also, again, create more opportunities with it. I really loved that presentation. I also loved the business angle that I feel Joseph, I'm forgetting, Mankra, yes. Some of the content that he had, I thought was kind of exciting for that, looking at the new ways we could evolve our business sense around this, because I think Africa needs to catch up a bit on that. I think we still need to unlearn a lot. We still need to buy in to the importance. Right now, it's not even there, and it's countercultural. We come from a people who are stewards, The Shona village back home didn't need training on all of this because they already know it. We've sort of outgrown it and become a bit more westernized, so I feel we need to kind of go back to some of that level of stewardship that we had growing up, and think of new ways of being and doing that are actually responsible in stewarding the earth. I just think more advertising. I think there should have been more people in the room. There are a lot of people involved in this work. If I think of Prospecting Development Association of Canada and the number of mining and geological and all these different sectors that are represented that come to Toronto during that time, to me, they should be having conversations like this. They are in the extractive industry putting this pressure on every other country. I think they need to know what that is and also make decisions and make actual promises, like tangible promises at those same conventions. So I would like to see PAC at PDAC.
Yes, this is a grassroots movement that seeks to, mobilize the concerns and the views of indigenous people all over the world. So yes, we know climate issues are normally discussed at the top, and it's normally pushed down. But we believe that the grassroots who are affected by the negative effect of climate change more than any other group must be listened to, so that such whatever decisions that are taken to mitigate the effect will actually reflect what they really feel. So this is the reason why me as a chief representing my community, Ekunfiabaka, feel strongly about how to get involved so that I can have the views of my people, represented in any future decisions that will be taken.
It was a very stimulating experience being here at this conference, to hear of the passion of the work people are doing, not just in Africa, in Ghana, in Kenya, in India, here in Canada. We all have the same dream, the same mission, the same value to save our planet. I was so stunned to see that although we're different parts of the world and we think we're doing different work, we're all doing the same work. We all have the same mission, the same goal. And it was so exciting and so admirable to see the work that were presented at this conference. You did an amazing job pulling together such passionate people who care about their work and who want to see a better future, and who are not afraid to speak. I heard some voices today at this conference that made people felt that they don't have to be afraid to speak up when they have an idea or a thought or a suggestion, that they'll be condemned, but that people would listen. And I think a conference like this, when you bring these kinds of people together, it's a start of bringing these great minds together, and we can continue this work by bringing these people back together and bringing others, younger and older folks together, so we can learn from each other, work together, brainstorm together, talk about our own experiences and what made us who we are and what we see for our children in the future. This planet doesn't just belong to us, it belongs to everyone, our children or our grandchildren. And my work was on indigenous corporate land and healthcare, and I was really thrilled to see how much I learned about the indigenous culture and the indigenous people and the passion that they've had and how they have really struggled to make their voices heard and to get people to listen to them, and that we are making headways and we will just continue to do that. I don't think this is the end of this conference. I think I could see it continuing from here, and I could see people really want to be a part of it. I also talk about action plan, that we need to make action plan and follow through with it, and not just a 5-year plan and then it's over and it's done. But that we should make a 5-year plan as a marker to continue, and you bring in the younger people to keep that plan going and not end when the person who starts it has retired or decided that they've had enough.